You've seen both sides. Trump says that India has promised not to buy Russian oil, but Indian Prime Minister's response makes no such commitment. But Trump says, I've reduced the tariffs to 18%. And then he says that besides everything else, Prime Minister Modi has also agreed to buy American, in addition to 300 billion in, 500 billion in some other purchases. Anyway, there's an existing agreement to buy 300 billion, so there's not much of a hard-coded commitment from the Indian side. So Trump is obviously using a lot of hyperbole, making some claims, but the good thing is there's an announcement of a deal. But there's more statements coming from Trump than from India, especially to Trump's statement that India has agreed to stop buying Russian oil. There's nothing official from the Indian side to that. How do you view these developments, Professor Sachs?
Well, basically, the United States is unstable and irresponsible, but backing down from the most outlandish actions of this government a few months ago. They made no sense. They antagonized India. They disrupted trade. And I think somebody finally explained to Trump that none of this was serving any American interests at all. And so Trump has backed down to an important extent. Everything about Trump and trade is erratic, not sensible, not accomplishing any U.S. goals, but better 18% tariffs than 50% tariffs or 500% tariffs. But I wouldn't take at face value any single statement by the U.S. government. I think everything is just complete improvisation, a lot of baloney, a lot of malarkey, but probably somebody has prevailed inside the White House to say, why antagonize India?
So what did Trump or what did America gain in the last
Nothing.
4 months of putting
Nothing.
pressure on India?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Whatever.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Hello and welcome. You're watching the Saturday edition of This is Exclusive with me, Shavan Sen. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I come to you with a very special story. This is about a high sea operation. In fact, a daring operation that has been carried out by the Indian Coast Guard to nab sea smugglers. Interestingly, what we are given to understand is that this operation has happened just about 100 nautical miles off the Mumbai coast. Tonight, we're going to not only take you through the details of the operation, never seen before videos, and a very special interview with the Coast Guard operations man. All this and much more in this edition of This is Exclusive. But up first, let me take you through the headlines we're tracking at this hour. Indian Coast Guard busts a massive oil smuggling racket off the Mumbai coast. 3 vessels intercepted. India-US release framework for interim trade deal. Big relief for India's economy with reduction in tariffs to 18%.
व्यवस्था अब हमारे निर्यातकों के लिए मोस्ट प्रिफर्ड ड्यूटी के साथ खुलती है और जिस प्रकार से हमारे किसानों के हितों का संरक्षण किया गया है, पूर्णतः संरक्षण किया गया है.
Government shows opposition the mirror. India's farming and agricultural sectors fully protected in deal. Republic reports from ground of the mine blast in Meghalaya's East Jaintia Hills. Exclusive images tonight on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight on This Is Exclusive, I come to you with a daring high sea operation. This is a major blow to international maritime crime. The Indian Coast Guard, in fact, has busted a major oil smuggling racket that was operating in the Arabian Sea off Mumbai's coast. The high-stakes operation basically unfolded over 5th and 6th of February and was the result of a meticulous sea-air coordination that was backed by advanced digital surveillance. The operation, in fact, was triggered when Coast Guard monitoring systems basically detected suspicious movement by a motor tanker inside India's exclusive economic zone. Now, a detailed analysis of the vessel movement pattern soon revealed that 2 more ships converging at sea, raising red flags of an illicit ship-to-ship oil transfer. Ladies and gentlemen, the details that we've also received from sources within the Indian Coast Guard is that the oil that we're essentially talking about is being brought in from conflict-ridden zones. In fact, in a short while from now, I'm going to take you through a set of 10 exclusive videos of the air-sea operation that was basically carried out. Number one, on your screens right now, we're going to take you through each of the details of the operation itself. It seems that ICG has basically, on your screens right now, that's video number 1 of the operation that's being carried out. And as you can see on your screens itself, the ships that were basically identified. Now, it was on 5th of February, Indian Coast Guard specialist teams boarded the vessels and confirmed the accuracy of the digital evidence leading to the apprehension of the vessels. The vessels were thereafter escorted to Mumbai. The operation was basically initiated through digital surveillance and enforced through ever-expanding maritime presence of the Indian Coast Guard. Let me just take you through what exactly came in terms of the first leads that were basically received by the Indian Coast Guard. In fact, it turns out that this is a syndicate that was basically operating, and the syndicate, in fact, consists of a network of handlers that were operating from various countries. They were basically coordinating the sale and the transfer between sea-going vessels. 3 vessels were basically intercepted by the Coast Guard about 100 nautical miles west of Mumbai, and this was after they had received a tip-off. Now, in fact, the Indian Coast Guard had basically used technology-inclusive systems which detected a motor tracker, and it seems that from the investigation that has been carried out, they've been able to establish that they've received the oil from, in fact, conflict-ridden zones. In fact, there are multiple videos that have been accessed by Republic TV. We're going to take you through each of these videos, and not just that, just a detailed report on what exactly was found. In a short while from now, we'll also try and find out as to where exactly was this oil being brought in and why it would essentially have some sort of an impact, because given the fact that a cartel too has been exposed here. It is of a larger concern given the fact that this operation indicates that the existence of this very cartel, and they were basically operating in the area. Where exactly was it headed? What was the purpose? All of that perhaps in a short while from now, when the Coast Guard operations man basically joins us. Operations officer would be joining us on this broadcast in a short while from now. I want to quickly take you through that first report to get you a better understanding of how this international syndicate has been exposed by the Indian Coast Guard.
A major blow to international oil smugglers in Indian waters. In a high-stakes sea-air operation, the Indian Coast Guard has busted a massive oil smuggling racket off the Mumbai coast. They have intercepted foreign vessels involved in illicit mid-sea transfers. On the 5th and 6th of February, a meticulously planned sea-air coordinated operation unfolded nearly 100 nautical miles west of Mumbai. Using advanced digital surveillance and data pattern analysis, the Coast Guard systems flagged suspicious movements inside India's exclusive economic zone. 3 foreign-flagged vessels caught converging mid-sea were intercepted by the Indian Coast Guard ships. Boarding teams conducted sustained rummaging operations, checking electronic data, verifying documents and interrogating crew members. The evidence revealed a sophisticated modus operandi. Cheap oil sourced from conflict-ridden regions. Transported by sea-going vessels and transferred mid-sea to motor tankers in international waters, all to evade customs duties and maritime law. Investigators say the syndicate was run by handlers operating across multiple countries, frequently changing vessel identities to stay off the radar. All 3 vessels were seized, the illegal supply chain exposed, and a major international smuggling network dismantled.
Well, in fact, joining us on this broadcast is Mr. Ajay Chaturvedi, the DIG ICG Operations. Dr. Chaturvedi, thank you very much for joining us on this broadcast. First of all, congratulations to you and your entire team for carrying out this entire high sea operation, a daring operation that has been carried out. First, I want to know from you why it is so very important to basically highlight this entire racket and what kind of ramifications does it have in this particular region?
Thank you, Shravan. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. As far as these cartels are considered, they evade customs and tax duties, which are rightly to be there with the government of India. These are exchequers money. Secondly, Indian Coast Guard maintains sustained presence in the area of responsibility, both by ships, aircraft, and tech-inclusive systems. So, whilst we were monitoring the area of responsibility, we came across these ships that were suspicious in nature. They were involved in frequent change of their name, flag, registration numbers, as also the statements that were made were not coherent with the electronic data. So we confronted them along with the available information, and we could find out that these vessels were involved in smuggling of heavy fuel oil, diesel, other hydrocarbons, which they get it from conflict-ridden countries, as you rightly mentioned, and thereafter supply to merchant vessels at sea itself, thereby evading the taxes, evading the amount of tax as part of the customs duty, which they are required to remunerate to government of India. Probably this is one of the first of its kind of operation wherein we've been able to break the nexus and confront them. As we get them closer to the shores, joint interrogation will be carried out by the law enforcement agencies, and probably we'll have more lead thereafter.
Dr. Chaturvedi, I want to understand from you, when you say that this oil was being brought in from conflict-ridden zones, would you be able to help us understand where is it coming from? Because that gives us a better understanding of why exactly was this route essentially chosen by this particular cartel.
Shravan, as you could see that these vessels are still at sea, and our boys have boarded them, interrogated them for 48 hours. We'll be able to conclusively establish the source once the joint interrogation is conducted and they have come closer to the shores.
Well, in fact, Dr. Chaturvedi, I do understand that the operation is still ongoing, but it is also extremely important to perhaps highlight the fact that we are talking about just about 100 nautical miles off the Mumbai coast. We're talking about the existence of a cartel, the cartel which basically is indulging in oil smuggling, and there is a high possibility it could have been for other purposes. What is the preliminary investigation essentially suggesting at? Where was it headed towards? And as far as the ownership of these vessels are concerned, have you been able to ascertain who really owns these very vessels?
Shravan, as part of the responsibility that is bestowed upon us for security of maritime zones as also for protection of national interests in such zones, Indian Coast Guard remains ready, steadfast and committed towards the responsibility. As I said earlier, we maintain on an average 55 to 60 ships and 10 to 12 aircraft at any given time to substantiate and to supplement the efforts of the ships and the aircraft. We also undertake electronic surveillance and tech-inclusive methods. So let me assure you that whilst these cartels may be operating 100 nautical miles from the shores, we remain committed to bust these kind of rackets which even come closer to our exclusive economic zones. And that is how we've been able to catch these fellows also. The general modus operandi is they remain outside the exclusive economic zones of the nations and thereby evade the national laws. But in this time, the boys indulged in some kind of mischief. They operated in our exclusive economic zone and we were ready, sitting there to catch them.
Dr. Chaturvedi, I just want to take a quick question before I let you go. I do understand that there are restrictions when it comes to an ongoing operation, but could you help us understand how exactly was this operation carried out? The very fact that there is a modus operandi, that they operate outside the economic zone so that they can evade international laws. Could you help us understand how exactly did you all intercept them? What was the nature of the operation that was carried out by your men?
We were monitoring them. We have various systems, methodologies, strategies under which we monitor our exclusive economic zone. And as we monitored, we came across this vessel. Initial suspicion was with respect to change of various identities, then subsequently remaining inside and outside. Generally, see, merchant vessels have a very fixed path, a fixed passage as per the ocean passages of the world, the sea lanes of communication that they abide to. And they have no other means apart from going from port A, where they embark their cargo, to going to port B, where they discharge their cargo. But in the instant case, these vessels were unnecessarily moving around without any destination. That is where the first suspicion came from.
Dr. Chaturvedi, thank you very much for joining us on this broadcast. I do understand that this is an ongoing operation, so your hands are equally tied, but congratulations to you and your entire team. I'm going to take our viewers through some more details of this entire operation that has been carried out. Where exactly was it happening? Why it is a cause of concern? Because keeping in mind, these are very routes that are basically taken by international drug lords. In fact, this, we'll try and map it for you to basically understand, not very far away from Mumbai. It's just about 100 nautical miles. Now, the EEZ extends up to 200 nautical miles from the baseline. So that's exactly the part where they try to avoid. That's exactly what the DIG was basically pointing out. The ICG surveillance flags had basically identified these suspicious tankers that were moving in. Activity was detected inside the Indian EEZ, and that's exactly when they immediately got into action. Digital investigation of the vessel movements were taking place, resulting in what we saw with 3 of them being identified. There was a data pattern analysis, 2 spots, 2 more vessels were coming in. So there was a pattern in their movement itself, and that is when they got a little suspicious. That's how the Coast Guard immediately acted on it. Suspected ship-to-ship oil transfer, because they believed that these other ships, other vessels that were coming in were bringing in more oil, and perhaps there would have been a transfer. There was an attempt to evade the custom duties too. Now that's exactly how they went on. Physical boarding confirms digital evidence. And just to quickly recap of what we know so far, what's the modus operandi? just to add on to what DIG Chaturvedi was saying, cheap oil sourced from conflict-ridden regimes. Now, we are not very sure where exactly is it from. It's not being highlighted by the Coast Guard. They've transported via sea-going vessels. What's the end point is something of a cause of concern here. Mid-sea transfer to motor tankers. So that's exactly why you had 2 more vessels coming in. The transfers done in international waters. So that is the reason why other countries are unable to intercept them. Designed to evade custom duties. So that's the reason why they operate outside the EEZs. Avoids maritime law enforcement. Now that's exactly how this entire operation has been carried out. In fact, that's all that we have as far as this story is concerned. I'm going to take you through another special story that we are bringing to you. This is about Meghalaya's deadly rat-hole mine blast. Republic is the only national news network exposing the illegal mining that was being carried out despite a clear Supreme Court ban. The result? The mine collapsed, led to the death of about 22 miners. Rescue operations enter their final phases. Their focus now shifts from survival to accountability. A CBI inquiry, in all likelihood, would be carried out, raising some very critical questions about why and how these mines have been operating despite repeated warnings. Take a look at this special report.
With Republic being the only channel on the site, we bring you exclusive footage.
The coal mine tragedy in East Zentia Hills, Tangso, has so far claimed 19 lives. 19 bodies have been recovered, with 18 being recovered yesterday itself, and 1 body was brought out today. NDRF and SDRF, along with all the district administration as well as the state government machinery, have been pressed into action. It may be mentioned that as a result of dynamite blasting inside the coal mine, many laborers were fear-trapped inside the mine yesterday, and several also sustained burn injuries.
The miners watched as officials from NDRF go through the rat mines to rescue the workers that were trapped.
There are any trapped laborers inside. It may also be mentioned that there were several tunnels inside this rat hole mine. This was not a scientific mining that was happening. This is a rat hole mine where the tragedy took place yesterday. And ever since the news broke out, efforts have been on to rescue the trapped laborers if there are any. Meanwhile, we are also getting to know that at least 2 to 3 rat hole tunnels have been cleared by the NDRF personnel.
The NDRF commandant was on site and Republic spoke to him regarding the incident, and this is what he said.
हमें कल शाम को पता चला था इस तरह का हमारी एक टीम यहाँ जयंतिया हिल्स में ही फेब्रिकेशन एक्सरसाइज कर रही थी. हमने उसको यहाँ भेज दिया और हमें जो इनिशियल खबर मिली थी कि जो हमें बताया गया था एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन से कि 18 बॉडीज़ रिकवर हो गई हैं और उसके बाद हमें ऑपरेशन शुरू किया. कल रात को आज सुबह से ऑपरेशन किया. पहले हमने एक वेल में किया और उसके बाद दूसरे वेल में. तो अभी तक फिलहाल एक ही बॉडी रिकवर हुई है.
It has been told to us that there was no waterlogging in the mines and the rescuers went down the mines with the help of a crane.
There is no water logged inside this mine. This is what we are being told, and as we speak now, you can see the rescuers of the NDRF has went down with the help of this crane. The NDRF personnel are also present here.
The senior office of the NDRF, N.K. Tiwari, was also present on the site during the rescue mission. He told Republic the reason of the death and the cause of the blast.
देखिए अभी यहाँ पे जो बताया गया है कि जहाँ पे एक तीसरी जो कोल क्वेरी थी उसमें डायनामाइट ब्लास्ट किया गया था और उस डायनामाइट ब्लास्ट के चलते शायद इंटरकनेक्टेड था मेथन गैस के रिसाव के चलते जो यहाँ पे काम कर रहे थे 2 क्वेरी में काम कर रहे थे माइनर्स वहाँ पे उसका इफेक्ट हुआ और ब्लास्ट मतलब यहाँ पे ब्लास्ट ये भी हुआ.
We also asked him that in which all tunnels the rescue mission was going on.
और सबसे पहले हमने जो हमारे सामने क्वेरी है इसमें हमने ऑपरेशन शुरू किया था. 3 बार हमारे रेस्क्यूअर्स नीचे गए थे लेकिन उसके बाद इन बिटवीन बीच में जो है रिसाव चल रहा था. मास्टर सॉइल है उसके बीच बीच में पत्थर है तो वो एक बाइक नीचे गिरा था, जबकि उसको प्रिकॉशन लेते हुए हम सेफ्टी के साथ नीचे गए थे। लेकिन जब रिसाव होने लगा थोड़ा और तेज, और एक बार थोड़ा सा उसका मलबा कुछ नीचे गिरा, तो तत्काल हमने उसको अपने रेस्क्यूअर्स को वापस बुला लिया था।
The final search and rescue operations are underway in Meghalaya, with NDRF rescuers entering the tunnels of the mine with the help of a crane. So far, 8 workers have been seriously injured.
This specific coal mine in East India Hills, and at least 19 people have been confirmed dead. Their bodies have been already recovered. 8 others have been inflicted with serious injuries. Mainly, most of them has got burn injuries as a result of the magnitude of the blast that took place inside this mine. And even as we speak today, now also the rescuers of the NDRF are inside this mine carrying out the rescue operations. And officials have informed us that there are 2 specific tunnels in this particular mine where the search operation is underway right now, and they are trying to ascertain if there is any laborers further trapped inside.
The reason of the death of the workers can be ruled down to suffocation and the harmful gases released due to the blast.
Doubt that in this main shaft where the tragedy took place, in this main shaft there are 3 tunnels that goes from the base of the shaft, and in 2 of the tunnels they are the workers, the laborers who work here are afraid that there might be some other people who are trapped inside, and the NDRF has sent down their rescuers to go and inspect as what is the situation underneath.
The district administration and the Meghalaya government are closely monitoring the situation.
In order to confirm if anyone is trapped inside, they are carrying out the final search and rescue operation in this mine right now. And with the help of these cranes, the rescuers of the NDRF has went inside. Also, experts from the district administration are assisting them. This is what we have got to know. It may be mentioned that as a result of the severe impact of the blast, many laborers, at least 8 of them, sustained a grievous injury, and many of the victims who died in this mine tragedy, they died as a result of suffocation and gases that gushed out after the blast took place.
The tragedy once again exposes rampant illegal rat hole mining, despite the Supreme Court banning rat hole mining.
Though it is complete.
NDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला NDH मसाला।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग स्टिक भी बन सकती है।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो, मिलाओ और खाओ, 8 मिनट में तैयार। क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा, आर प्योर मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप जीरा सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप। थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा,
सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
This morning, Rahul Gandhi, leader of the opposition, created a ruckus and furor in the parliament. In response to the president's address, he insisted upon raising what he said were some issues of vital import to our national security. So what was he saying? He was trying to cite an article from the Caravan magazine, which in turn was quoting excerpts from General Narwane, the former army chief's unpublished memoirs. It may be recalled that the government had stopped General Narwane from publishing the book. As such, the authenticity of the excerpts cited in the Caravan magazine itself are open to question. But then let's try and take a deeper look at what is this bravura all about. So I have had a detailed look at the article in the Caravan magazine. I have no access to General Narwane's book or manuscript, but we had a look at the Caravan article in detail. So what does this article say? This article talks of the 2020 Chinese intrusions, which had culminated in the Galwan incident, in which 19 Indian soldiers had lost their lives. No weapons had been used, but the Chinese had laid an ambush with pointed stones, with baseball bats wrapped up with barbed wire and nails and studded with lethal handheld weapons. You see, 19 Indians had been killed, but in response our soldiers had given an excellent account of themselves in hand-to-hand combat, and it is said that 45, some claim up to 100 Chinese soldiers were killed, which they tried to hide by saying they had lost just 5 soldiers. The simple fact is that after this violent incident leading to 19 fatalities on the Indian side, we should have thrown the 1996 Peace and Tranquility Accord into the bloody dustbin. Dustbin. Because that accord says that you can't use your weapons.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
From your smartphones to your smart television, trending stories are breaking the internet. Tonight, we bring you the top stories that are making serious noise across the world. First up, India and the United States have redrawn the economic map, unveiling an interim trade agreement that slashes tariffs and opens the gates to the world's biggest market. A move that is being seen as a game changer for exporters and strategic ties. Next up, Jeffrey Epstein is once again at the center of a storm, as some conspiracy theories are brewing online with viral images and claims suggesting that Epstein may have faked his death and disappeared. Well, there is no such evidence to support these claims, but unanswered questions, security lapses, and Epstein's links to powerful elites are once again fueling speculation across social media. And finally, the latest on the joke of a tournament called the ICC T20 World Cup. After shallow threats of boycott, looming financial fallout appear to have pushed the PCB from defiance to dialogue. We have this and a lot more stories packed in this edition. I am Oyana Mitra and you're watching Trending. Let's get started. Viewers, India and the United States have formally unveiled their interim trade agreement, marking a major reset in bilateral ties. After months of negotiations, the framework is now public. Washington, D.C., the tariffs that were imposed by the U.S. on Indian goods have been slashed from 50 to 18%. That opens wider access to the world's largest $30 trillion market. Leather, pharmaceutical, gems and diamonds and MSMEs stand to gain the most, with exporters getting immediate relief and stronger competitiveness. India, in return, allows greater market access for US industrial goods and select farm products and commits to purchases worth $500 billion over the next 5 years. This interim agreement, rooted in talks initiated by President Trump and Prime Minister Modi, is being seen as a bridge to a full bilateral trade agreement with stronger supply chains, deeper economic integration, and closer strategic alignment now firmly on the table, marking a decisive step forward in India-US trade ties. All right, viewers, let's break down what this interim trade deal actually means for the common man. First, the United States sharply cut tariffs on Indian goods from a steep 50% down to 18%. This gives a major push to Indian exporters, from textiles and leather to pharmaceuticals, gems and MSMEs. Indian goods now get easier entry into the world's largest $30 trillion US market. In return, India is allowing wider access to American industrial goods and select US farm products. India essentially has also committed to buying US goods worth $500 billion over the next 5 years. The government of India says the deal strengthens the Make in India and Atmanirbhar initiatives and create jobs for women and young Indians. While this interim pact is being seen as a stepping stone towards a full bilateral trade agreement and deeper strategic ties. All right, viewers, on that note, I'm being joined by Bhargav Prajapati, who's live with us from Washington, D.C. at this hour. Thank you, sir, for joining us on Trending this evening. I want to ask you, given the terms and conditions that have now been publicly outlined in the trade agreement, what are your key takeaways?
I'm not able to hear. The voice is not...
Bhargav, can you hear me now?
I cannot hear you.
All right, we'll just get that. We'll just get that audio fixed for you, sir. But do stay on with us, viewers. On your screen, we are going to lay out some details of this trade agreement that has now been finalized between India and the United States, essentially putting into context what it means for both countries. This trade deal, viewers, is being seen by the government of India and by Washington, D.C. as one that impacts the economies of both nations. For India, we are seeing tariffs on Indian goods essentially being slashed from 50 to 18%. There is zero tariffs on key exports such as pharmaceuticals, gems and diamonds, relief for textiles, leather, chemicals, artisanal products and machinery. India gets access to a massive $30 trillion US market, as we were telling you, while the agricultural sector and India's farming community remains fully protected. Now, remember, this was a main talking point that had been raised consistently in India. And on that note, let me bring in our guest for Trending this evening, Bhargav Prajapati. If you can hear me now, I was asking you about your assessment of this trade deal and what are your key takeaways?
I can perfectly hear you now. Thank you very much for having me on your show. So the biggest key takeaway from this is that it's an interim trade agreement, and this is meant to de-escalate the tensions that the US and India have had for past few months. The biggest promise that the United States is making is that it's going to reduce the tariffs on Indian origin goods from what it was, 50% to 18%. And then there is also more potential to bring these tariffs down further for very selected goods like generic pharmaceuticals, gems and diamonds, aircraft parts, auto parts. This is going to be subject to investigation, Section 232, which concerns the effect of imports on United States national security. But it's still a big win for Indian exporters, especially for textile, leather and footwear, organic chemical products. So that is like immediate relief that would come out from this trade deal. India has for the first time promised to open its agriculture market very partially. The goods that are listed in the framework is what India would be importing from United States, and it has committed to reduce tariffs on broad range of US industrial goods. India has also promised to buy almost $500 billion of US goods for next 5 years, which makes totally sense because India was already buying $40 billion of US goods almost every year. So they are going to buy now coal products, energy related products, data center related goods, technological products, and precious metals. This also opens a little bit of window for making a free trade agreement on critical minerals like rare earth elements. The United States just had a meeting with allied countries to initiate talks on that. So that's a very good first step in that direction. The third biggest takeaway is that both India and the United States are now going to discuss the non-tariff barriers, which have been a cause of concern and friction between both of the countries, especially on United States agriculture and processed products to the India, then also US medical devices. So they are going to both talk about removing or reducing this non-tariff and phytosanitary barriers.
Yeah. Bhargav, you mentioned about the agricultural community, and interestingly, this is something that became a point of contention over the course of negotiations that we've seen in the last 1 year, that whether India's farming community will receive full protection or not. And now that it has been established, in the trade deal statement released by the two countries, do you believe that it still remains a big talking point? And how practical do you think will be, as far as the implementation of these terms and conditions are concerned?
It will always be a talking point between US and India, especially because India has very closely guarded its agriculture market, and completely understandable why India would do that. But it's not an immediate concern because the trade framework only covers non-core items. So it doesn't cover rice or wheat. It covers animal feed like red sorghum, tree nuts, soybean oil, and then wine and spirits. So it is not going to be an immediate cause of concern, but it will eventually, because this is the first time that India has opened its agriculture market, albeit just partially, but it has opened it for the first time. So it will be a cause of discussion over the long period.
All right, Mr. Bhargav Prajapati, thank you for joining us on Trending and giving us your perspective.
Thank you very much.
Viewers, moving on to the next trending story of the evening. Even in death, Jeffrey Epstein refuses to fade away. With the US Justice Department releasing the final tranche of documents linked to the convicted sex offender, an old question has returned louder than ever. Is Jeffrey Epstein really dead, or did he vanish? Let's be clear up front. There is no proof that Epstein is alive. But there are conspiracy theories online which are circulating that has fueled by mistrust, unanswered questions, and viral speculation. Now, with fresh DOJ files released, social media has gone into an overdrive once again. A photograph, unverified and unconfirmed, is storming the internet. It shows a man in sunglasses with long hair and a beard, bearing a resemblance to Epstein, a supposed resemblance. Now, netizens say that this was captured in Israel. Now, speculations and fact checks are to be carried out. The photo does not appear genuine, but the theories persist because Epstein's crimes were real, his connections were real, many questions were never fully answered. When a man accused of trafficking minors for the global elite dies before trial, mistrust fills the vacuum. So the question is Epstein really alive? Now, according to every official record, the answer is no. But in the age of leaks, files, and fading trust, and of course social media, Jeffrey Epstein remains not alive, but unresolved. All right, joining us live is Marilyn Hayes, founder and CEO of Freedom of Abuse. Marilyn, thank you for joining us on Trending this evening, ma'am. My question to you is, what is your take on all these conspiracy theories that are floating across social media? It's interesting how the debate has shifted from, high-level names being redacted from the Epstein files to that of Epstein's alleged appearance in Israel?
I think it's a bit of a farce, really. I can't see that he's alive. What I don't think that he took his own life. I really don't. He was a narcissistic egotist, a control freak, very much on top of his game. I seriously think that he was taken out when he was in prison. He was on high security risk, suicide watch, with cameras on him all the time, and he was apparently took his own life when the cameras went off. How would he know that? How would he know that? I like to think he's died. Good heavens, I hope so for the whole of the world, because his revolting, vile, evil reach was global, was it not? Yeah? And then you had the photo of the Clintons, right? Okay. They are now, he went on the jet, which was called the Lolita jet. Well, there's tells you all you need to know, because I think what this is throwing up, actually, because the story won't go away, it's throwing up more questions than actually answers, I think. But he went on that jet. He flew 26 times to the island with his wife. That's absolutely beyond normal, I would have thought. But now, of course, he's going to go to Congress. He's agreed to go with his wife. But that's because I think he was going to get a court order where a lot of stuff would have come out, and maybe by agreeing to go, he might override what the court order might have shown up. I don't know. What annoys me from over this side of the pond, Keir Starmer stood up and made I think, a sincerely insincere apology to the poor victims of Epstein and anybody else that was engaged in his horrible, grotesque activities. Well, Keir Starmer doesn't even begin to apologise for any of the children in our country abused by asylum seekers, abused by our rape gangs. He's nowhere to be seen with that, and yet he was so wooden with that apology yesterday. It was as if he'd been practising in front of a mirror. It was unbelievable. The other thing that's come up on my thought processes as well, because I have been sent photos, I wonder if he also trafficked young boys. Given that Mandelson is gay, you get gay paedophiles. I would have thought that Epstein was the sort of man, repugnant man, that would facilitate any gratuitous sex that any of his guests wanted. I have seen photos only last night of Filipinian boys. I think it was on the island, but somebody sent me some information. I don't have any evidence of it, obviously, that this happened, but it would nothing would surprise me. I also think, like that photo there, right? Why would Clinton have had that photograph done? And also, I think the other week when I was on your show as well, we had the one of Mandelson in his underpants, yeah?
Yeah.
And I swear that Epstein he must have had hidden cameras everywhere, I think. We had the one of Andrew Mountbatten crawling all over some poor woman on the floor of the room somewhere where he was living. And it wouldn't surprise me. Epstein was such a nasty piece of work. If he had cameras everywhere, so that at some point, if people didn't play his game, he could humiliate them, embarrass them, blackmail them. I wouldn't put it past him at all, because some of those, I mean, you wouldn't stand there with your underpants and a t-shirt on talking to somebody in a bathrobe if there was a cameraman right in front of you. So how was that captured? And there's quite a lot of photos you think, there wasn't a cameraman there. That must have been a hidden camera. I mean, that is very telling, that one of Bill Clinton with that girl. I mean, as I say, it raises more questions than answers.
Absolutely,
I do wish the story would go away, because frankly, it's making me feel physically sick, the things that went on there. But, you know, they go, oh, he's the worst person ever to be like this. Yes, he did have a global reach. But when I look at the story that we had of Jimmy Savile, we were told he was the worst person, yeah? And then we have to look at El Fayed, who used to run Harrods in London, and all the sex stuff that he was getting up to with young women.
Absolutely.
What also upsets
Marilyn,
me with this, it's always about the women. They forget about the boys and the men. And there are boys involved in this, and I think that should be flagged up. And I don't think, those girls' names, the victims' names were not redacted, and that is absolutely appalling. Whilst the perpetrators'
Marilyn,
names
this is
have been
something that has
redacted.
come up as a point of contention between the DOJ and the victims. I'm sorry to cut you there in between. We are running short of time, but I want to thank you for joining us on Trending, giving us your take on this.
Thank you for your time.
All right, viewers, on to the next trending story. Pakistan's boycott drama has reportedly entered a U-turn phase as far as the ICC T20 World Cup is concerned. First came the chest thumping when Pakistan claimed that they will not play with India in the T20 World Cup. And why so? Citing solidarity with Bangladesh. But then the ICC steps in, not with threats, but with persuasion, with quiet calls. Closed-door conversations trying to convince the PCB to honor the fixture, reminding them of obligations, of schedules, and of the bigger picture. Now, what we call as warnings of sanctions talk of financial hits. Just like that, the boycott bravado melts. From we will not play India to let's talk. After threatening a boycott, Pakistan has now reportedly approached the ICC for dialogue. After digging in its heels, it is embarrassing that the PCB is suddenly reaching out, asking for discussions. The message seems to be that protest is fine till the bill arrives. With the ICC flagging sanctions and losses running into millions, Pakistan cricket has shifted from confrontation to damage control. Let me go across to my colleague Himanshu, who joins us live from the digital newsroom. Himanshu, we've seen what a joke this entire World Cup has, become. And it is embarrassing now that Pakistan is still getting to somehow call the shots. And now it has approached ICC calling for dialogue with India.
That's true. Pakistan has invoked a clause in ICC rulebooks that's called force majeure. It's a French word that basically translates or gives them a right to skip the match. But for the clause to apply, the affected party must demonstrate that the event was unforeseeable or unavoidable, and that it took all responsible steps to mitigate the impact. Now, whether PCB will manage to convince ICC that this was an unforeseeable situation is something that we will have to see. What I am hearing from ICC sources is that the International Cricket Council has made it clear for Pakistan that whether you play this game, because there is around $500 million riding on this match alone. So if ICC feels that the force majeure clause is not basically what Pakistan can invoke, if it rules against it, then probably they are going to expel Pakistan of the entire tournament. And now that will be a huge, it will have its huge financial repercussions on Pakistan cricket, and their entire relevance in world cricket is because of the India-Pakistan rivalry. So if that's not happening, probably ICC is going to terminate them or expel them from the tournament.
Right, Himanshu, thank you very much for joining us. Viewers, keeping a close watch on that story for you. Meanwhile, before we end the show, here's a quick look at everything else that is trending on the internet. During his visit to forward areas in Poonch, Army Chief General Upendra Dwivedi reviewed troop preparedness and morale. A special moment unfolded in Kamsar village where he met Subedar Parvez Ahmed. The two had served together when General Dwivedi commanded 18 Jammu and Kashmir Rifles in the early 2000s. Post-retirement, the veteran continued supporting troops during Operation Sindoor, even at personal risk. Recognizing his service, the Army Chief honored him with the Veteran Achiever Award. Smriti Mandhana's WPL triumph came with an unexpected viral twist. After the RCB skipper powered her team to a second straight WPL title, a meme joked that she was smashing bowlers as if seeing her ex Palash Mudgal's face. What shocked the internet was Smriti's mother Smita Mandhana resharing the meme on Instagram. The post was quickly spotted, screenshots spread, and fans crowned her savage auntie. Though the repost was later deleted, the internet had already had its moment. Halle Berry has officially put engagement rumors to rest. Appearing on the show, the Oscar winner confirmed she's engaged to musician Van Hunt after 6 years together. Berry clarified she never rejected his proposal, saying the delay was only about fixing a wedding date. The much-awaited film Hera Peri 3 has ended in legal trouble. A South production house has approached the Madras High Court, questioning the producers on the franchisee. They argue that the film was authorized to make only one Hindi remake of the original Malayalam film. The court is now examining whether the third installment can be legally made. And that's all that we had for you on Trending this evening, viewers. Do stay on with us, live and breaking on the other side. Thanks for watching.
MDH की देगी मीरज,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मीरज।
Amity has been ranked among the top universities globally for producing the most employable graduates by the Times Higher Education UK. Yet another testimony to Amity's excellent placement record.
Our Pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग स्टिक भी बन सकती है।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ 8 मिनट में तैयार। क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर्नब मसाला।
Hi, good morning
Hi, how
to
are
you.
you?
Good evening from India. We have announcement of a trade deal, and
Yes.
you've seen both sides. Trump says that India has promised not to buy Russian oil, but
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा,
सबका राजा आर्नब मसाला।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
This morning, Rahul Gandhi, leader of the opposition, created a ruckus and furor in the parliament. In response to the president's address, he insisted upon raising what he said were some issues of vital import to our national security. So what was he saying? He was trying to cite an article from the Caravan magazine, which in turn was quoting excerpts from General Narwane, the former army chief's unpublished memoirs. It may be recalled that the government had stopped General Narwane from publishing the book. As such, the authenticity of the excerpts cited in the Caravan magazine itself are open to question. But then let's try and take a deeper look at what is this bravura all about.
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ,
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला।
Hi, good morning
Hi, how
to
are
you.
you?
Good evening from India. We have announcement of a trade deal, and
Yes.
you've seen both sides. Trump says that India has promised not to buy Russian oil, but Indian Prime Minister's response makes no such commitment. But Trump says, I've reduced the tariffs to 18%. And then he says that besides everything else, Prime Minister Modi has also agreed to buy American, in addition to 300 billion in...
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
झुमका तेरा झुमका तेरा झुमका।
नॉट देयर, मेरा काउंटर टॉप टूट जाएगा।
तेरा झुमका।
मेरी चिमनी टूट जाएगी। What are you doing?
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा,
सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
This morning, Rahul Gandhi, leader of the opposition, created a ruckus and furor in the parliament. In response to the president's address, he insisted upon raising what he said were some issues of vital import to our national security. So what was he saying? He was trying to cite an article from the Caravan magazine, which in turn was quoting excerpts from General Narwane, the former army chief's unpublished memoirs. It may be recalled that the government had stopped General Narwane from publishing the book. As such, the authenticity of the excerpts cited in the Caravan magazine itself are open to question. But then let's try and take a deeper look at what is this bravura.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Live and Breaking on Republic TV with me, Shara Mitra. Now, viewers, Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal has clarified that farm and dairy products are fully protected under big India-US deal. We'll get you all the details. But first up, headlines.
Of your greetings reflects the beautiful diversity of our shared culture. I also take this moment to salute the efforts of the Netaji Service Center and Netaji Welfare Foundation in Malaysia.
Prime Minister Modi addresses Indian diaspora in Malaysia's Kuala Lumpur, hails India-Malaysia cultural bond.
पर $30 ट्रिलियन की अर्थव्यवस्था अब हमारे निर्यातकों के लिए मोस्ट प्रिफर्ड ड्यूटी के साथ खुलती है और जिस प्रकार से हमारे किसानों के हितों का संरक्षण किया गया है, पूर्णतः संरक्षण किया गया है.
Government shows opposition the mirror. India's farming and agricultural sectors fully protected in India-US deal. India and US release framework for interim trade deal. Big relief for India's economy with reductions in tariff to 18%. India commits to buy $500 billion worth of goods from the US over the next 5 years, including energy products, aircraft parts, precious metals, as well as technology products.
Young boy has lost his life. As you say, it is a criminal negligence. We have suspended the officials. FIR has been lodged.
Republic questions Delhi minister over laid-back action in Janakpuri death case. Minister says appropriate action being taken. All right, viewers, we have breaking news coming in from Telangana, where a massive fire broke out at Forensic Science Lab in Namapalli. Officials say the blaze spread across multiple rooms on the first floor and caused damage to computers, storage devices and case-related documents before it was brought under control after several hours of operation. Massive fire breaking out in Telangana at a forensic lab. We understand several evidence have also been damaged. My colleague Aishwarya joins me with more details on this. Aishwarya, do tell us what's the latest do we know about this fire and the extent of damage that has been caused in this?
We are currently outside this forensic department here in Telangana, Nampalli. But what we are learning is that the fire call was received to the fire department here at 10:21 approximately in the morning. After which there was a fire at the first floor, which broke out in a computer room. What they are saying is that short circuit might be the reason, because the fire department official has clearly mentioned that there was an MCB, and since this was clearly an old building, the MCB could not take the heat anymore, and that is why a short circuit might have triggered a fire, and that spread over the first floor. However, before it could go to the second floor, the entire fire was curbed by the fire department. Almost 5 engines reached the spot immediately, after which the fire curbed within the first floor. In the first floor, whatever be the computer rooms, there was a hall, and there are several hard disks that was present in the first floor. That is what the fire department had here also said. Many of the evidences, the computers, hard disks, are damaged, and the extent of the damage, what can be recovered, what cannot be recovered, what are the files, is something they are still probing into, and will give a report soon, is what the police have also confirmed. However, they have also said that the first floor is engulfed, had completely engulfed, but luckily it did not spread to the second floor, where actually there are chemicals, there are laboratories where samples and all of that sample testing are also done, which did not spread it to the second floor. That is why the extent of damage is very limited, and the casualties also were not there were no casualties also reported except for an office boy who was not very severely injured. So clearly the question here is that what kind of evidences were damaged, what kind of hard disks or the computers that were engulfed in the fire, what kind of evidences are now damaged is something that they are also looking into, the police, and they said that they will get back with the report soon when they clear the entire area and get into the details.
Right, of course, the extent of damage is still being assessed. But Aishwarya, it's a forensic science lab. A lot of evidence are present there. Now, you mentioned that it could be a short circuit that triggered the fire. But is there any angle of foul play also being investigated so far?
Definitely, because the opposition here were quick to jump in, and with the BRS working president KTR as well as the BJP, both of them were quick to jump in, and they were criticizing, saying that they were suspecting foul play in this entire fire incident, saying that this might be a fabricated tale to actually destroy the evidences that could harm the Congress government themselves, and also the phone tapping case, which is becoming a very big political agenda here. BRS working president KTR said that the fabricated case, such as phone tapping case, evidences are also destroyed here. In an attempt to actually, because there was no evidence, they are trying to destroy the evidence. That is something that KTR was trying to say. But however, the police here are clearly stating that there's nothing of that cause, and there was only a short circuit because it was quite an old building. So the fire, there was no proper fire department, precautionary system that was present in this particular building, and that is why the fire actually happened, is something they're saying, and they're also looking into, and they're also making sure that fire-related services as well as the equipment will be put in place after this particular incident.
All right, but the exact cause is still not being established as investigation continues. Thank you, Aishwarya, for joining us and giving us those details. And now, viewers, moving on, a gas leak was reported on Jammu Airport Road. A chemical cylinder got a leak at a shop. Teams of NDRF firefighters have been called to the spot. An incident reported roughly just 500 meters to the Jammu airport. So very near to the airport. In fact, a gas leak has been reported. Details are still coming in. My colleague Gursimran joins us on this. Gursimran, what's the latest that we know about this gas leak reported near the Jammu airport?
Yes, this was this evening when the gas leak was reported, and the team of the NDRF, SDRF and the firefighters, they were called which is the human-made chemical agent, chemical warfare agent that was there. How it came there, that is part of the investigation. But now the NDRF team has seized that and now have brought it to the Satwari police station. Here, I'll request Ravi to walk with me so that we can show you that it has been kept at a safe location. Here, you will see also been here, and they are looking into it because that is the very place, that next place in this very area where the cylinder has been kept. And we are told that tomorrow morning it will be the time when the teams of the other organizations, they will be visiting this very place. So this is the cylinder that has been seized. We are told that we are not allowed to go more closer to this one. But this is the cylinder that has been recovered. How this came? Because this is said to be a military-grade cylinder. It has been brought here. Since it is a human-made chemical warfare agent, it is one of the critical things that could have been in a public place. That too 500 meters from the Jammu airport, being one of the sensitive zones, Jammu airport. This is being taken with the utmost severity. We saw a couple of minutes that the teams of the NDRF that checked the level of radiation and the level of leaks that were also here, and the level was checked on. Only then it was said that it will be kept only till the time the teams of those who check the radiation level, they will arrive, because it has done a large scale damage. The damage is not only of this property that it has done, but also there was a nursery that has completely been destroyed. So now the radiation level will be checked.
All right, Gursimran. We will continue to track this story. Thank you for joining us and giving us those details. Now, viewers, another breaking news has coming in from Haryana. Swing collapse reported at Surajkund Mela. Police, we understand they're present on the spot. Further details are still awaited as to if there has been any injury in this, but we're getting you visuals of how that swing collapsed at the famous Surajkund Mela. Remember, it's a pretty popular fair that takes place in Faridabad. In fact, a lot of people visiting from across the country, and you can see exactly on your screen how this swing collapsed. We understand that some injuries have also been reported, but it's a breaking news. More details are still awaited. At present, police are present on the spot, and we're getting you visuals of exactly how that swing collapsed at Surajkund Mela. It's a big breaking news coming in at this hour from Haryana. Viewers, very concerning incident coming to light from Surajkund Mela. In fact, a swing collapsing. You can see how many people, in fact, are seated on that swing. And we're getting you those visuals of that unfortunate incident taking place at Surajkund Mela. Remember, it's a pretty popular fair that takes place in Faridabad. A lot of people from across the country visited. And you can see exactly how it collapsed in the fair. Now, we understand that injuries have been reported. We still do not have the numbers at this point of time, viewers. But we're getting you visuals of exactly how that collapse took place at Surajkund Mela. We understand that police are present on the spot. And we're getting more details, but injuries have been reported is what we know. In fact, an inspector has died after the swing collapsed at the Surajkund Mela. We are given to understand Inspector Jagdish has been identified as one deceased in this incident. He was trying to save others, in fact, and this is when he lost his own life. Now, my colleague Lalit is joining me with more details on this. Lalit, clearly a very unfortunate incident taking place at Surajkund Mela. We understand one casualty has been reported. Please give us more details.
Very unfortunate have been reported
All right, Lalit, your voice is not clear. We'll try to connect with you again. But viewers, that's the concerning news coming to light from Haryana, where a swing collapsed at the Surajkund Mela, leading to the death of one police officer as well. Officer has now been identified as Jagdish. He was trying to save others while he lost his life. In fact, about 13 people have also been injured in this incident, and they are currently receiving treatment, is what we're given to understand. You can see how many people, in fact, are seated on that swing and how it collapses. This incident took place at Surajkund Mela. Remember, it's a pretty popular fair that takes place in Faridabad every winter. All right, viewers, we're getting you visuals from Surajkund Mela. In fact, this is where the collapse took place of the swing. 13 people injured, currently receiving treatment, while one police officer has died. The visuals on your screen. My colleague Niranjan also joins me on this. Niranjan, help us understand what exactly do we know about this collapse? How did it take place? Was it negligence on the part of the staff present there?
Yes. In fact, these are pictures coming in from Surajkund Mela. You know, we are hearing that there's been a death. We have the reaction of a policeman as well. One of the authorities there has confirmed that an inspector has died. We have a soundbite. If we can play the soundbite, we've just shared it with our teams on the desk. This is extremely tragic because just look at that video. I mean, it shows us, you know, the kind of situation that unfolded there, and we are trying to get more details on this particular Mela, whether it was the International Crafts Mela, because there is one such Mela that is held every year. Whether it is the exact same Surajkund International Crafts Mela, we don't know. But what we can tell you that this was a Mela in Surajkund, and in this particular Mela, a swing, one of the swings there collapsed, and police is at the spot. Further details are awaited. We have a confirmation that one policeman has been killed in this unfortunate tragedy. We are yet to get more details of how many people were trapped or rescued, but we do have some details coming in that several people are also injured. Some reports suggesting 13 people are injured. Some saying that number could be more. This was the Surajkund Crafts Mela that is reportedly held every single year. This is in Haryana, in Faridabad, to be more precise.
Right, Niranjan, those are the details viewers were getting in about this tragic incident that has taken place in Faridabad of Haryana. Surajkund Mela swing collapse being reported. And now we are shifting focus. India and US trade pact is going to spurt growth of multiple sectors in India, from agricultural to defense to pharma. Here's a breakdown of the tariff cuts and the sector-specific outlook for India from this deal. Take a look.
India and America have finalized a landmark trade agreement. The blueprint is out. India and US interim trade deal opens $30 billion US market for Indian investors. Several sectors to see growth as a direct implication of the deal. Key sectors include textiles and apparel, leather and footwear, gems and pharmaceuticals. Customs duty on aircraft parts and aircraft components, including engines, are reduced to zero. This will encourage domestic production. Other sectors to see growth include plastic and rubber products, organic chemicals, home decor, machinery and capital goods. Agriculture and farm sector growth will also see an uptick. India opened its market to a range of US industrial products. This includes animal feed, tree nuts, fresh and processed fruits, soybean oil, wine and spirits. But no import duty concessions have been provided on sensitive products like staple grains and cereals, core vegetables, pulses and dairy sector. Among other sectors to get a momentum include aviation, auto and pharma. US also removed national security tariffs on aircraft parts and aircraft components, and India gets preferential quota on auto parts. The deal will also give a push to flagship Make in India initiative of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. India also made a big commitment of $500 billion worth of US imports across sectors, including energy. The trade deal that comes after a year of extensive negotiation ensures deepening economic security cooperation between both India and United States.
And now viewers, a big news coming in from Chhattisgarh. About 51 Maoists with a rupees 1.61 crore on their head have now surrendered in Chhattisgarh's Bastar division. Now the Maoists surrendered before the police in 2 districts under the Bastar division on Saturday, and the surrender here coincided with the inauguration of the Bastar Pandam 2026 festival in Jagdalpur, the headquarters of the Bastar district, by President Draupadi Murmu and Union Home Minister Amit Shah's arrival in Raipur on 3-day visit. Now viewers, the surrendered cadres even included 34 women, is what we're given to understand. Take a look at this report. And now my colleague Bharat joins me with more details on this. Bharat, 51 Maoists surrendered with about 1.61 crore bounty on their head. Give us more details.
देखिए बिल्कुल मैं आपको बता दूं, जिस तरीके से देश के जो राष्ट्रपति है द्रौपदी मुर्मू, उनका आगमन बस्तर हुआ है। बस्तर आगमन पर ही एक बड़ी जो तस्वीर है लोकतंत्र की वो देखने को मिली है। जो माओवादी हैं जो हिंसा के रास्ते पे चल पड़े थे, उनकी अगर बात की जाए 51 माओवादियों ने आत्मसमर्पण किया है। वहीं बस्तर के सुकमा इलाके की अगर बात की जाए, सुकमा एसपी किरण चौहान और बस्तर आईजी पी सुंदरराज और उच्च जो अधिकारी हैं पुलिस विभाग के, उनकी मौजूदगी में जो है 21 जो माओवादी हैं वो सुकमा में आत्मसमर्पण करे हैं। तो वहीं दूसरी तस्वीर अगर बात की जाए, बस्तर संभाग के बीजापुर जिला पड़ता है। बीजापुर जिला में 30 माओवादियों ने बीजापुर एसपी डॉक्टर जितेंद्र यादव सहित जो सीआरपीएफ के डीआईजी हैं बीएसए की, उनके समक्ष आत्मसमर्पण किया है। 30 माओवादी जो बीजापुर में आत्मसमर्पण किया है, वही अगर दो इलाकों की अगर बात की जाए, सुकमा की अगर बात की जाए, तो सुकमा के जो कैडर के जो लोग हैं, बड़े कैडर के लोग बताया जा रहे हैं, हथियारों से लैस थे वो माओवादी जो हिंसा के रास्ते पे चल रहे थे। वही माओवादी है जो पुलिस के लिए आमना सामना होता था, मुठभेड़ की जो खबर निकल के आती थी, पुलिस पे बंदूक तान के एक समय वो खड़ा हुआ करते थे। वही अब सरकार की योजनाओं से सरकार की तरफ वो जुड़ते हुए नजर आ रहे हैं, मुख्य धारा से वो जुड़ गए हैं। आज बस्तर आईजी के समक्ष 21 माओवादियों ने सुकमा के इलाकों में समर्पण किया, तो वहीं बीजापुर में एक नहीं दो नहीं 30 माओवादियों ने पुलिस के उच्च अधिकारियों के समक्ष आत्मसमर्पण किया है। मैं आपको बता दूं, देश के जो गृह मंत्री हैं अमित शाह, उनके आने के पहले ही अगर इस तरीके की चीजें यहाँ पे देखने को मिल रही है, तो स्वाभाविक सी बात है जो डेडलाइन देश के गृह मंत्री ने तय कर रखा है 31 मार्च को पूरी तरीके से नक्सलवाद समाप्त करने की, कहीं ना कहीं जो सार्थक साबित होते हुए नजर आ रहा है। जो कैडर की अगर बात की जाती है, नक्सलवाद में जो कैडर होते हैं, जो वर्दीधारी नक्सली होते हैं, जो वर्दीधारी माओवादी होते हैं, वो आमतौर पर जो हथियार से लैस रहते हैं और हथियारों के माध्यम से वो किस तरीके से नुकसान पहुंचाते हैं, तो उनका अगर सरेंडर होना, ये वाकई एक तरीके से बड़ी सफलता पुलिस के जवानों को देखने को मिल रही है।
जी, वन स्टेप क्लोजर टू नक्सल फ्री इंडिया। भरत, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए और वो जानकारी हमें देने के लिए। नाउ व्यूअर्स, मूविंग ऑन, India, after intense negotiations, achieved a breakthrough. Trump slashed tariffs from 50% to 18%. But what does this agreement hold for India and the United States? What will India gain and what's in it for the United States? Here's a detailed look. Take a look.
India and United States trade deal has finally come to fruition. White House released a statement early Saturday morning, giving out the details of the trade agreement. But what India gains from this historic trade pact? Zero tariffs on high-value export segments, including gems and diamonds. Zero tariffs on India's strongest export segment, pharmaceuticals. Apart from this, the pact also entails a relief for textiles, leather, chemicals, artisanal products, and machinery. The pact also opens access to a massive $30 trillion US market. But India's agricultural sector is fully protected under the pact. Not just India, the trade agreement is also a big gain for United States. The pact reduces tariffs to zero on all US industrial goods. Non-tariff barriers on US agriculture, eased relief for tree nuts, fresh processed fruits, soybean oil, wine and spirits. India has also made a commitment of buying $500 billion worth of US goods over the next 5 years. There is also a shift from Russian oil to more US energy supplies in the trade pact. Overall, the deal is a win-win situation for both India and United States, trusted partners committed to expanding trade and commerce.
All right, viewers, that's all we could pack in this edition of Live and Breaking. Thank you so much for watching, but don't go anywhere. On the other side, we talk about India's commitment to buy $500 billion worth of goods from the US over the next 5 years, including energy products, aircraft parts, precious metals, and technology products.
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
Amity has been ranked among the top universities globally for producing the most employable graduates by the Times Higher Education UK. Yet another testimony to Amity's excellent placement record.
R Pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला। MDH।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
Hi, good morning
Hi, how
to
are
you.
you?
Good evening from India. We have announcement of a trade deal, and
Yes.
you've seen both sides. Trump says that India has promised not to buy Russian oil, but Indian Prime Minister's response makes no such commitment. But Trump says, I've reduced the tariffs to 18%. And then he says that besides everything else, Prime Minister Modi has also agreed to buy American, in addition to 300 billion in, 500 billion in some other purchases. Anyway, there's an existing agreement to buy 300 billion, so there's not much of a hard-coded commitment from the Indian side.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे ये खुशबू दे ये तीखा ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग शिप भी बन सकती है।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा
राजा आर प्योर मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिर्फ जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
This morning, Rahul Gandhi, leader of the opposition, created a ruckus and furor in the parliament. In response to the president's address, he insisted upon raising what he said were some issues of vital import to our national security. So what was he saying? He was trying to cite an art.
At the highest level of sport, moments of pressure do more than just test athletes. They define one's legacy. And in this chat, we explore how top-level performers navigate through those moments of pressure on the global stage. So please welcome in a discussion with my colleague Rakshita Manika Batra, Indian table tennis star. And this conversation is titled When Pressure Creates Legends.
Thank you so much, Manika, for joining us here at R4 Sports Summit 2026. And we'll talk about how pressure creates legends. We all know how pressure creates diamonds. And these are our gems of our sporting prowess. And Manika is here. And Manika, we'll talk about how you handle pressure and how it has contributed in the making of the champion you've been for India as far as table tennis is concerned. But I want to start with your journey. You started playing table tennis at a very, very young age. Today you're you're a senior singles player in table tennis. But what, made you choose table tennis as a sport seriously?
First of all, good afternoon, everyone. I know सबको भूख लग रही है, but yes.
An appetite for your what you want to share as well, I think.
Yeah, but yeah, honestly, I would say टेबल से ज़्यादा ऐसी चीज़ों पे ज़्यादा प्रेशर होता है because we are not used to it. But yeah, I'm to be honest, I'm very good in handling pressure, and I'm proud of that. But yeah, जब आप country के लिए खेलने जा रहे हो and you have that responsibility, इतने सारे लोग देख रहे हैं और सबको expectations हैं, so I think वो pressure रहता है. But I am that kind of person कि मैं उस pressure को as a good way में लेके जाती हूँ कि I'm going to represent my country and मुझे अपना best देना है. So I take it in a good way and I give my best over there, and I think only कि मेरे को कैसे perform करना है, कैसे अच्छा खेलना है. So तो वो pressure I think वो निकल जाता है and वो बस focus रहता है कि how I have worked hard and जो discipline follow किया है, जो सब चीज़ें करी है वो मेरे को एक दिन में दिखानी है. सो आई थिंक उस टाइम पे वो प्रेशर चला जाता है कि मेरे को बस अपना बेस्ट देना है अपनी कंट्री के लिए और अपने लिए.
आपने बोला एक दिन का वो परफॉर्मेंस, एक्चुअली ये एक बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट बोला आपने. सब लोग वो एक दिन देखते हैं, एक दिन ही होता है आपके पास प्रूव करने के लिए, और वो एक हार या जीत, वो एक पॉइंट हो या कुछ भी हो, कितना सेट हो, वो बस एक मोमेंट होता है, ये हार या जीत डिसाइड कर लेता है. लेकिन उसके पीछे जो कुछ वक्त लगता है, जो समय लगता है, जो संघर्ष होते हैं, जो स्ट्रगल्स होते हैं, उस दौरान भी कई बार डाउट्स आ सकते हैं, चाहे वो फिटनेस हो, चाहे वो कंपटीशन हो, चाहे वो प्रेशर हो. CWG जब गोल्ड कोस्ट में हुआ था, यू स्ट्रक गोल्ड एंड आई थिंक दैट वाज द टर्निंग पॉइंट ऑफ योर करियर. एंड उसके बाद से जब आप लाइमलाइट में आते हैं तो कहीं ना कहीं एक अलग से प्रेशर हो जाता है, मीडिया ग्लेयर होती है, एंड आपको चैम्पियन बोला जा रहा है, नेक्स्ट टूर्नामेंट में आप ही पर नजरें होंगी पूरे देश की. वो प्रेशर जब आप इवन प्रिपेयर कर रहे होते हो, क्या कुछ चल रहा होता है माइंड में?
यू आर राइट. वो एक्चुअली सब वो एक दिन देखते हैं, बट उसके पीछे जो मेहनत होती है और टू बी ऑनेस्ट सुबह उठना, अपना डाइट फॉलो करना एवरी डे, समटाइम्स इट, मतलब मेरे लिए भी कभी कभी आई फील दैट नहीं आज नहीं जाती, बट आई पुश माई सेल्फ एंड वही चीज़ मुझे हेल्प करती है इन माई टूर्नामेंट्स एंड इन माई ट्रेनिंग. सो आई लव लाइमलाइट एंड आफ्टर कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स I love to be champion. So I think अगर लोग वैसा देख रहे हैं मुझे एंड वैसा अप्रोच कर रहे हैं, I like that and I love that, and I hope I keep on proving myself every day in my training sessions, in my tournaments, matches जब मैं जाती हूँ. So yeah, I love to be champion. So मैं वो कोशिश करती हूँ कि मैं हर बार टूर्नामेंट के लिए जाऊँ और बेस्ट दे के आऊँ.
So when you're in the limelight, you said you love the limelight, but then it comes with criticism also. It comes with controversies also many a times. When do you read those headlines, when you see, and now you have social media also and people commenting all sorts of
Which
stuff.
Which is very dangerous.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was coming to. How do you handle that?
To be honest, if I talk about criticism, वो होता रहेगा, and बट अगर आप उसको अच्छे वे में देखो कि एटलीस्ट लोग देख रहे हैं एंड लोग फॉलो कर रहे हैं वो चीज़, सो आई एम, मतलब वो बुरी तरह लिख रहे हैं, आई डोंट केयर, बिकॉज आई नो व्हाट माय गोल इज़ एंड what all my dream I have in my life. So if I focus on that, तो वो criticism I think matter नहीं करती.
So that, of course, I think many of our athletes should make a note of. And also, you talked about the tournament in 2025, but also like in Olympics 2024, there was a heartbreak. A lot of expectations from table tennis, a lot of expectations from you. There was a heartbreak. What did you tell yourself then in that Olympics?
I think for me, 2024 Olympics was, of course, I was not satisfied, but I'm really happy that how I performed there and how my attitude was overall पूरे Olympics में, whether it was team tournament or team match or singles event. So I'm really happy that जो practice किया था Olympics से पहले, I played everything there, I applied everything, and my attitude when I landed Paris में, so I was so positive, and that really helped me. And of course performance ऊपर नीचे होता है, you can only work hard every day, and वो mistakes से आप सीख सकते हो, but overall, I think I'm really happy how I performed. Of course, I have to focus on next Olympics, LA Olympics, and I feel that I will give my best, and I will give my best to win a medal over there.
We all do hope, and we all have expectations from you. But coming back to the question of table tennis, because we've seen that table tennis also was not really in the limelight for the longest time. There were many other games that were coming up. We had icons in badminton, in tennis also. Cricket, of course, was always there for the longest time. But when it comes to table tennis, what made you, really take up the sport professionally?
I started when I was 4 years old. So my siblings, they used to play table tennis. So unko dekh ke hi I started this sport. And I was playing just for fun. Of course, 4 years की age में मुझे नहीं पता था कि मैं इस level पे पहुंचूंगी. So I think that enjoyment, what I had when I was a kid, वो अभी तक है, and that is really helping me. So yes, उनको देख के I started this sport, and now after Commonwealth Games especially, where I won 4 medals for my country, and of course Asian Games in mixed doubles I won. So I think वो मेरा turning point था, and after that I think life has changed, my attitude has changed on table and off table, and which is helping me. So I'm really happy and proud of myself that how I handle myself when I'm on table, off table. So
So what about the work-life balance? When you are at the top level in any game, there's a lot of talk about mental health. We just had Dalima, we were talking about sports psychology, talking about mental health. And with that, I would also like to link how you, balance out your life. So we talked about shutting the noise and everything, but as a young woman, how do you really try to get the best of life, both professionally and personally?
Of course, mental health is really important, and nowadays people are focusing on that, which is a good thing. And like when I go for my training sessions, जब मैं ऐसे बैठी भी होती हूँ, टूर्नामेंट आ रहा होता है, कभी माइंड में वो प्रेशर, दैट नर्वसनेस इज़ देयर, बट I have my psychologist who helps me to overcome with all these things, from all these things. So I love meditation. I love to do meditation every day. I love to do breathing exercise, and I think that is helping me to keep myself calm when that situation comes. जब बहुत close match होता है या जब match आने वाला होता है, सबको वो pressure आता है, and मैं भी इंसान हूँ, मुझे भी pressure आता है. So I like to, like I said, कि मेरे को अपने आप से बात करना पसंद है, that I can do it and I can win, and that recently where I won against Chinese player, मैं उससे last year हारी थी. So I think before that match I kept on saying to myself that I can win against her, and that helped me in that match कि मैं वो जीती. So of course mental health is really important, and आपको you just have to believe in yourself, and you have to keep on going.
That is in fact how pressure creates legends, I think. But talking about, you just mentioned that you have a sports psychologist, you have a psychologist, and you also have nutritionist, you have a team. We've seen that table tennis is doing well, if you see overall. You feel that, is there anything in the system that still lacks? Because I'm saying this, there have been questions being raised once again, given the controversies, the recent controversy that happened in the national capital as far as the badminton tournament is concerned, the Indian Open is concerned. When it comes to, there are, pole vaulters being deboarded from a train because there was no facility to actually, or no way to tell that how important was it for the poles to be transported. They had to be deboarded from the train. And many such controversies keep coming up. And even the foreign players are taking this on public platform, which are raising many questions about India's infrastructure in terms of sports. You, being a seasoned player, playing for India for so many years and also playing abroad, What would you say about the playing conditions in India and in comparison to the other venues?
To be honest, I've been to China, Germany. If I say honestly, उनका बहुत अच्छा infrastructure होता है, and we are still lacking in that. But I think Sports Authority, they are working towards it. The other foundations and everyone. So I think still we are lacking, but अभी जैसे बैडमिंटन के टूर्नामेंट हुआ एंड हमारा भी एशियन चैम्पियनशिप हुआ था which infrastructure was not so good, but I think we are just learning from that. And if Commonwealth Games and Olympics अगर India में होता है, so I think they will improve and अच्छा होगा, because we just learned जैसे हम टेबल टेनिस में हम अपनी मिस्टेक्स से सीखते हैं. सो आई थिंक द कंट्री ऑल्सो विल लर्न कि आगे हम कैसा अच्छा करेंगे, एंड आई थिंक दैट विल हैपन, और हमारा कॉमनवेल्थ और ओलंपिक्स अच्छा होगा.
Is there enough support for the athletes, and especially women athletes, you feel today?
I think अभी चेंज हुआ है, चेंज आया है. If I talk about maybe 4-5 years back, इतना ज़्यादा support नहीं था. But recently I've seen many young athletes जिनको support मिल रहा है. But of course we need more support, because we have to travel. हमारे tournaments होते हैं, हमारी training होती है. So I think अगर और support मिलेगा young athletes को जो अभी join कर रहे हैं and जो सीखना चाह रहे हैं और कुछ लाइफ में करना चाह रहे हैं, तो आई थिंक उसको वो चीज़ें बहुत हेल्प करेगी यंग एथलीट्स को.
And if talking about you individually, how do you really prepare for a tournament? Like what really goes in behind when suppose the Asian Games are coming? So how will your day look like?
Simple होता है. We just have to go and keep on working hard.
How many hours of training and maybe working out and everything?
So for me, like I love to be मतलब ट्रेनिंग के वहाँ पे like चाहे जिम हो चाहे टेबल टेनिस का हॉल हो. So I like to I train for almost 7 to 8 hours including gym, so in a day. But I think only बस ट्रेनिंग से नहीं होता है. We have to follow other things as well, चाहे sleep हो, diet हो, recovery हो. So I think we have to focus हर एक चीज़ पे जो आपको हेल्प करेगी आपकी गेम में. जैसे समटाइम्स मेरा कभी कभी हो जाता है कि आई स्लीप आफ्टर 9:30, देन आई एम रियली टायर्ड नेक्स्ट डे. सो आई लाइक टू बी इन बेड एट 9 और 9:30. सो दैट रियली हेल्प्स मी कि मैं नेक्स्ट डे जो ट्रेनिंग होता है उस पर मैं 100% दे सकूँ. तो वो कभी कभी होता है कि नहीं आज कुछ मूवी देख लेते हैं, कोई कभी फैमिली के साथ
इंस्टाग्राम स्क्रॉल कर.
I don't like that. No.
Very good. I think that's also key. आप 9 बजे सो जाते हो.
Yeah. So you have to give your best every day. आप अगर थके हो you cannot 100% अपना नहीं दे पाओगे. And I think जो ट्रेनिंग में करते हो वही मैचेस में आपको हेल्प करता है. If you sleep on time, if your diet is good, if your recovery is good, so वो चीज़ें आपको हेल्प करेगी.
What's your diet like? What's the secret of your fitness?
सिंपल खाना है. इट्स नॉट ऐसा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड नहीं है. ऑफ कोर्स आई अवॉइड जंक फूड, ऑयली फूड, ऑल दीज थिंग्स.
दिल्ली गर्ल, फूडी तो होंगे आप.
फूडी थी, मुझे छोले भटूरे बहुत पसंद.
अच्छा.
बट या उसके लिए गेम के लिए आई हैव टू डू दिस. एंड अभी एक्चुअली आई एम नॉर्मल. मेरा नॉर्मल रूटीन हो गया दैट आई डोंट लाइक ऑल दीज फूड. मेरे को कब कार्ब्स लेना है, कब प्रोटीन लेना है. नो, आई हैव माई पूरा न्यूट्रिशन का प्लान.
Right, so that is actually very inspiring that you really need to keep that discipline, you really need to control your, I think, those cravings, I think. That is the key. Even if you're a foodie, chole bhature and chocolates can wait, I think. But the championship won't, I think. That is the takeaway, at least, that I am getting right now. I just read about it that you believe in the Mamba mentality of Kobe Bryant, the 2-time Olympic champion, He's known for his, his legendary mindset. And, what really goes behind this Mamba mindset that you've spoken about before?
I think Mamba mentality should be for everyone. Not only in sport, but Mamba mentality is like you should never give up whenever you are there to, अगर आपके गोल्स हैं, आपके ड्रीम्स आपको अचीव करना है, इफ़ यू विल गिव अप फिर वो मज़ा नहीं है. सो यू शुड कीप ऑन, यू शुड लव योर चैलेंजेस जो लाइफ में आते हैं एंड जस्ट कीप ऑन गोइंग. सो या दैट रियली हेल्प्ड मी इन माई स्पोर्ट कि अगर आप कोई भी काम करने जा रहे हो उसको अधूरा मत छोड़ो, पूरा करके आओ. सो यस.
तो अभी क्या कुछ अभी रह गया है, अभी आपके अपकमिंग गोल्स? ऑफ कोर्स ओलंपिक विल बी वन, आई एम अज्यूमिंग, इट्स अंडरस्टैंडेबल, इट्स वेरी ऑब्वियस, बट अगर आपके इंडिविजुअल लेवल पे व्हाट यू थिंक इज समथिंग दैट यू रियली नीड टू कॉन्कर?
मेरे साथ ऐसा है दैट इफ़ आई थिंक बहुत लॉन्ग टर्म का, मेरा फोकस अभी जो प्रेजेंट है वो चला जाता है. सो आई लाइक टू focus on अभी present moment पे. So I have अभी World Championships and the Asian Games, so I want to give my best over there. Last Asian Games was I played quarterfinals, so I think I want to achieve मेरे goals हैं जो उसको पूरा करना है. Like I want to win a medal for my country if it is World Championship or Asian Games. So I'm working hard for that every day. So I think जो भी होता है वहाँ पर रिज़ल्ट, क्योंकि कभी कभी ये भी होता है कि लोग बस रिज़ल्ट देखते हैं, जो उसके पीछे मेहनत होती है वो नहीं देखते. सो आई वांट टू टेल देम कि ऐसा नहीं है कि हम गए हैं बस खेल के आ गए हैं एंड मज़े करके आ गए हैं. सो दे शुड नो कि हम कितनी मेहनत करते हैं, सारे एथलीट्स, नॉट ओनली अस बट जो भी यंग हैं, जो भी अभी सीनियर्स हैं. सो वी गिव आवर बेस्ट इन आवर ट्रेनिंग्स एंड वी गो टू विन देयर. बट अगर रिज़ल्ट नहीं आता है सो डू नॉट हमें सपोर्ट करना बंद मत करो. बट या वी आर जस्ट गोइंग टू गिव आवर बेस्ट ओवर देयर एंड आई थिंक विद मी आई विल गो इन एवरी टूर्नामेंट. अभी है मेरा चाइना में एशिया कप, सो आई विल गो एंड गिव माई आई वुड से 200% एंड ट्राई टू विन अ मेडल ओवर देयर.
तो मेडल की हम जब बात करते हैं, हर 4 साल में ओलंपिक्स होता है एंड पीपल आर ऑलवेज व्हेन दे सी द टैली दे फील दैट इंडिया इज़ द लार्जेस्ट पॉपुलेशन इन द वर्ल्ड. But when it comes to the medal tally, we expect so much, there is so much talent, it's brimming with talent, but the tally numbers, of course, they're doing better with every Olympics, but every Indian, every sports fan, expects that we should be at par with a US, a China. What do you think, or how long will it take, what will it take to actually come at par?
आई थिंक अभी रिसेंटली मैं ये नहीं बोलूँगी बिकॉज इंडिया इज़ डूइंग ग्रेट इन स्पोर्ट्स. वी हैव अचीव्ड so much. Of course, we have to achieve many things, but we have already achieved in every sport. So ऐसा नहीं है कि US अच्छा कर रहा है या चाइना, टेबल टेनिस में चाइना अच्छा कर रहा है. वी आर डिफीटिंग देम. सो आई थिंक वी ऑल आर वर्किंग हार्ड फॉर दैट एंड इट्स नॉट कि इंडिया पीछे है. अब इंडिया ऑफकोर्स बराबर हो गया है टू डिफीट देम.
No, when you speak about the number of medals that we get, that is an expectation. And when I was speaking to Dalima also, she was talking about the sporting culture. Do you feel that needs to be promoted more, like access to sports, a way of life, sports becoming an integral part of life, not just any random hobby to, for a vacation or for a holiday or just to pass some time, taking sports seriously and the culture of sports seriously. You think that somewhere has been lacking in India?
I think थोड़ा बहुत है, but we are improving in that and we cannot say कि बहुत ही बुरा है. We are also winning medals. Of course ज़्यादा नहीं आते, but sports culture अभी थोड़ा और build होगा तो अच्छा होगा.
Yeah. And next आपने बताया जैसे कि आपका जो ये गोल है, बट व्हेन इट कम्स टू ओलंपिक्स पे मैं आऊँगी तो उसको लेकर आप क्या आपके माइंड में है, क्या विजन है आपके माइंड में, क्या बोलते हो अभी शीशे में अपने आप को देख कर, जैसे आपने बताया. नाउ व्हेन यू थिंक ऑफ प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर ओलंपिक्स?
Like I said, I don't want to think about. Of course, I have my goals that I will win my.
What would you do differently from maybe last year?
I will just train hard.
Okay.
It's just like I said, we have a same routine.
Okay.
I'll just improve few things on table and in workouts, but I will not change my routine. Of course, जो mistakes हो रही हैं off table and on table, I will not repeat that. But there is not मतलब ऐसा कुछ huge या difference नहीं है that I will make in my life. I will go with the flow and I think I'll keep on working every day कि मैं Olympics में medal ला सकूँ.
What has been your biggest inspiration? Like that keeps you going?
What or who?
Inspiration. Yeah, it can be what, it can be who, it can be any sports person, it can be any thought, anything, any moment.
I think there are people like, first of all, I would say my mom. She's my inspiration. And I would say myself. When I see myself, how I have worked hard, I will not say struggle, but some sacrifices I've made. So I am proud of myself when I see that Manika Batra कि वो किन चीज़ों से निकली, and because people they just see social media. So I'm really proud of myself how I have वो चीज़ों से निकली हूँ and worked hard and हर एक दिन वहाँ टेबल पे खड़ी हुई हूँ. So I myself I would say I'm my that motivation मेरे को अपने आप से ही मिलती है कभी कभी.
आप अपने favorite हो?
Yeah, मैं अपनी favorite हूँ.
That's very good. In fact, that's inspirational. In fact, when you talk about in motivating yourself, and you also talked about how you introspect every time. I think that is very, very important. आप लगातार जिस तरह से you've endeavored to win medals for India, there have been, of course, a lot of focus also on your personality. You're always one of the best turned out in glamorous looking athletes, very much photographed. And there was a rumor that you wanted to be a model or you had modeling offers. Is that true? No, not at all.
No, it is not true. And I love my sport.
Yeah.
And बचपन से ही सपना है टेबल टेनिस को ऊपर लेके जाना and टेबल टेनिस में कुछ करना. And अभी के लिए I would prefer कि मैं अपने स्पोर्ट पे ही फोकस करूं and जो मेरे ड्रीम्स हैं और इंडिया के लिए कंट्री के लिए कुछ करने के लिए वो मैं उसको ही फॉलो करूं.
Right. Manika, it's a pleasure talking to you, and we do, I think there are many inspirational things that you said, very simplistically said, very simply said, no drama, no complication, no high funda, but you were very, very straightforward and with your answers, and I think it's wonderful to have her on stage. Thank you so much, Manika. A big round of applause, please.
Thank you.
छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने.
मेरी चिमनी टूट जाएगी. What are you doing?
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं.
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा. रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना.
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं. रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड.
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार.
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे. केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार. विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध. MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास वाह वाह मम्मा क्या स्वाद है अरे मेरे राजा
Hi, good morning
Hi, how
to
are
you.
you?
Good evening from India. We have announcement of a trade deal, and
Yes.
you've seen both sides. Trump says that India has promised not to buy Russian oil, but Indian Prime Minister's response makes no such commitment. But Trump says, I've reduced the tariffs to 18%. And then he says that besides everything else, Prime Minister Modi has also agreed to buy American, in addition to 300 billion in, 500 billion in some other purchases. Anyway, there's an existing agreement to buy 300 billion, so there's not much of a hard-coded commitment from the Indian side. So Trump is obviously using a lot of hyperbole, making some claims. But the good thing is there's an announcement of a deal. But there's more statements coming from Trump than from India, especially to Trump's statement that India has agreed to stop buying Russian oil. There's nothing official from the Indian side to that. How do you view these developments, Professor Sachs?
Well, basically, the United States is unstable and irresponsible, but backing down from the most outlandish actions of this government